Yellowstone exists because of a supervolcano, a massive caldera beneath the surface that has been shaping this land for hundreds of thousands of years. Everything we see here is the surface expression of something far more powerful below. I first came here as a kid, long before I knew what a caldera was or how rare moments like this really are. Decades later, it's still doing exactly what it was doing back then. And then there are the Bigfoot stories. Over the years, people have claimed to see something unusual near Old Faithful, even a few grainy images captured on the webcam. Bigfoot? Why are they always grainy? No answers, no proof. Just a reminder that places like Yellowstone don't give up all their secrets. Out here, legends linger right alongside steam, shadows, and imagination. Some trails are about the views. This one is about the weird. Artist Paint Pots is only a mile long, but it packs in bubbling mud, steam vents, and colors that look like someone spilled a whole art kit into the forest. If you're enjoying this video, please take a minute and hit that subscribe button. It helps our channel out a lot and it doesn't cost you anything. We appreciate you watching. Yellowstone's geysers, mud pots, and hot springs are all powered by heat rising from a massive volcanic system beneath the park. Yellowstone contains half the world's geothermal features, including over 500 active geysers, like Old Faithful, hot springs, mud pots, and fumaroles. The park experiences 1,000 to 3,000 small earthquakes annually. That keeps the plumbing clear. Yellowstone has been part of American folklore, where wilderness and mystery often blur together.
For a few days, this was home, Ponderosa Campground, just outside Cody, Wyoming. Before the alliance, before the upgrades, just us, the road, and a place to land. Once we were set up, we headed into town, not for the food, but for the story. Dinner was at the Irma Hotel, built by Buffalo Bill in 1902.
Buffalo Bill named the Irma after his daughter. It's a National Historic Landmark known as the finest hotel of its size in the U.S. and a gateway to Yellowstone, featuring the famous cherrywood bar gifted by Queen Victoria, attracting royalty, cowboys, and tourists for over a century, with its history linked to its founder and its role in Cody's development.
This area was once called Coulter's Hell, named after mountain man John Coulter, whose stories of boiling earth were once dismissed as fiction. Then everything stopped. A grizzly, high on the mountainside, likely feeding on berries, building strength for the winter. At the gate, a massive bison greeted us, a reminder that we were entering their world. We climbed through Sylvan Pass, gaining elevation and perspective. Then the alerts came, a winter weather warning. Rocky Mountain weather does not negotiate, so we turned back.
Morning came quietly, just an inch or two of snow, enough to change the mood. The water lines froze a bit, but we were fine. Yellowstone was closed. So what do you do when the park closes? You look for another road. We headed out on the Chief Joseph Scenic Byway. Higher elevations had taken 17 to 24 inches overnight. Snowplows led the way through mountains dressed in white. One brief stop while a bridge was cleared. Patience comes standard out here. Part of the reason we took the Chief Joseph Scenic Byway was so that we could end up on the Beartooth Highway. We had hoped that it would be open, even though the severe snow had fallen the night before. Unfortunately, it was closed for the season, and it had just closed that day. Then the road dropped us into Cooke City, Montana. Cooke City began as a gold and silver mining boomtown in the 1870s, named for financier J. Cooke, with dreams of a railroad that never fully materialized due to harsh terrain. It became a vital base for the New World mining district, thriving on lead, silver, gold, and copper extraction, with relics still visible today. Now, a gateway to Yellowstone and Beartooth Mountains, it's a hub for tourism, snowmobiling, and backcountry adventure, preserving its rugged history through its museum and historic buildings. The northeast entrance reopened. A bison stood at the gate, right on cue. The snow melted fast. Weather in Yellowstone can shift dramatically due to elevation changes in mountain terrain. This guy's out here grazing all by himself. Don't worry, his friends are on the way. Bison were everywhere. A Wyoming traffic jam followed, a herd crossing slowly. Yellowstone boasts the biggest concentration of mammals in the lower 48 states, including the world's largest free-roaming bison herd, all while straddling 3 states, mostly Wyoming. Don't let these fluffy cows fool you. They can burst speeds of 35 to 45 miles per hour in an instant. One big guy ambled down the road, stopping to look in every car. We were in awe and just a little bit nervous.
Mammoth Springs stopped us cold. Terraces rising like frozen waves. Water still shaping the land. Then an elk, early September, just before the ride. We wanted to see everything, so we didn't walk the full trails. Next time. Mammoth Hot Springs formation constantly changed as mineral-rich water pools and deposits travertine. At Abyss Pool and Lakeshore Geyser, the park slowed again.
Lakeshore Geyser in Yellowstone's West Thumb Basin is unique because it's often underwater, erupting from a vent that's usually submerged by Yellowstone Lake, becoming visible only when water levels drop in late summer and fall, sometimes reaching 20 to 30 feet high with vigorous boiling, though it's known for long, unpredictable dormant periods, similar to its neighbor, Fishing Cone.
That one's erupting. Look. Another elk, and a coyote sleeping in the warmth.
Yellowstone Lake is North America's largest high-altitude lake, sitting in a supervolcano caldera featuring underwater hot vents, holding the biggest inland cutthroat trout population, and freezing over in winter. But it's known for its cold temps, making swimming dangerous. Yet its waters connect to the Atlantic via the Yellowstone River, baffling early scientists about its fish.
We followed Firehole Canyon Road. Steam and stone on either side. The signs are everywhere. Stay on the trails. At Dragon's Mouth Spring, the earth spoke louder, breathing, growling. alive. Quiet mountain lakes followed. Stillness returned. A bighorn sheep scaled a cliff as if gravity were optional. Power and grace side by side.
The South Rim Road slows you down. You can feel something big coming. The Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone opens suddenly, deep and impossible to ignore. Heat weakened the rock. The river finished the work. What looks ancient is still being shaped. We walked the short trails, far enough to feel the scale. Then Artist Point, the view that defines Yellowstone. Mist rises, light shifts, the canyon keeps listening. The Yellowstone River carved the canyon through heat-weakened volcanic rock.
There's the rainbow.
Some places ask you to slow down. The North Fork of the Shoshone River is one of them. I'll admit it, my casting form wasn't great. No trophies, no fish stories. But that was never the point. Cold water moving past your legs, mountain holding the horizon. You don't come here to catch something, you come here to be part of it. And honestly, you can't come somewhere like this and not fly fish. The North Fork is known for its cold, clear waters and scenic trout habitat. The Bill Cody Ranch near Cody, Wyoming, offers rustic lodging and trail rides in the Shoshone National Forest, with a fascinating history tied to the town's founder, Buffalo Bill Cody, whose grandson even owned it, adding to his legacy as a classic dude ranch. That blends historic Western charm with modern amenities, deep in the heart of Buffalo Bill's legendary stomping grounds.
Guest ranch horseback rides follow historic travel routes used by early settlers and ranchers. Some experiences feel borrowed from another time. A 3-hour horseback ride over ridges, along mountain ledges, through cold streams, Every turn felt like a classic Western. Movement slowed, awareness sharpened. 3 hours later, we came back different. And when the ride ended, a margarita or two at the Saddle Sore Saloon. Before heading farther, we stopped at Buffalo Bill Dam, engineering holding back a river, quietly shaping everything downstream. And then there was the driftwood, logs stacked like the river's memory, storms, runoff, time. You wonder if they ever cleared it all, or if the river just keeps delivering more stories. Driftwood collects where the river flows slow, near reservoirs and dams.
Before Cody became what it is today, it began here. Buildings relocated, stories preserved. Even outlaws passed through. The West was built by movement, not permanence. This cabin once belonged to Butch Cassidy. Old Trail Town preserves original frontier buildings relocated for protection. Buffalo Bill's name is everywhere, but he's buried near Denver, Colorado, not here.
Before leaving Cody, we stepped inside the Buffalo Bill Center of the West. Many stories, many voices, one complicated history. Sometimes the West doesn't speak. It just looks back at you. Then the room quieted. Jade, a bald eagle, injured, unable to return to the wild, still commanding the room.
The regular rodeo season has ended, but traditions hadn't. The 2020 College Rodeo, future cowboys and cowgirls. The horseback color guard, precision and pride.
Let's do it. Come on, let's have it.
The West is still being lived.
I'm looking down. The field officials say he was found at the gate. What that means is the cowboy has an opportunity for a rerun. Found right outside of Bucket Chute. Quick catch. Look at this. Yes, sir.
The perfect close to an unforgettable trip. And before heading home, one last stop. Because how do you come this far and not visit Grand Teton National Park? Yellowstone wrote this chapter. The Tetons were already calling. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, life's an adventure. Roll with it. If you'd like, take a moment, hit that subscribe button. It helps support our channel and keeps us going. Doesn't cost you a thing.